Greetings once again, pirates on the high seas. Duuz-Diz-Din back with another chapter of One Piece, where previously, as Vegapunk's explanation to the world continues on, telling about how the world will be sinking beneath the wave, we see Im in a certain part of Pangea Castle, gazing upon a portrait of what might be Nefeltari D. Lily. We see that Igram, Karoo, Chaka, and Pell have all returned to Alabasta sans Vivi, and while Igram and Karoo create more and more missing posters, Chaka and Pell lay King Cobra to rest within the rebuilt Tomb of King. All the while, Vegapunk explains the Mother Flame, very much having what most people call his Oppenheimer moment, where he explains that he wanted to create something for the good of mankind, but a portion of the Mother Flame had been stolen, and it was used, apparently, to power an ancient weapon, which led to the destruction of Lelucia Kingdom. Something terrible has been unleashed, and for what purposes, Vegapunk isn't completely sure, though he does feel that it's connected to Joy Boy, the pirate who apparently preserved the ancient weapons beyond the Great War that sunk the world. Why he would do such a thing is anyone's guess, although in my personal belief, I believe it's because these ancient weapons, as they're called, were not so much weapons but the pride and joy of specific people. 'Twas not the weapons themselves that were evil, but the use behind them. But, to that end, does that really mean they should be preserved, especially when they've already been in the wrong hands once before? Hearing about the destruction of Lelucia, Elizabelo II orders for his men to investigate this, hoping to corroborate what Vegapunk has said. Meanwhile, Stussy, who has a crossroads in terms of what she wants to do, now that Edison has told her to go free and live. She finds herself wanting to free Kaku, as though she did betray her friends, I guess, in CP0. He does not wish them to perish in what comes next, or to be punished. Edison also makes it known that he can no longer make more of the island clouds that they were hoping to use in order to give the Thousand Sunny a platform to launch off of safely into the waters below. It's hard to say if he did enough before Ethan Baron and Venus Girl cut off the connection to the cloud production plant. Meanwhile, we see that St. Jude Peter, in his giant sandworm form, is inhaling the Cypherpole agents who are being held hostage, potentially to put them in another location or to dispose of them. Hard to say. Meanwhile, as York continues to listen to Vegapunk's explanation, he finally comes to the realization of where the transponder snail is. When we were first introduced to Vegapunk in this arc, the Stella body, he had warped into the Iron Giant, and that is where he left the transponder snail. He was hiding it before all of these events went down, as the Iron Giant is impenetrable. Or at least we hope. What happens next? Join me as I find out. Won't you? What the hell? I didn't actually look at the chapter title. One Piece chapter 1117. What does that mean? Alright, we see Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest, Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 7. I'll pay my respects to the Code of the Yakuza before I go. So Nekomamushi is still hanging out with Boss Hyogoro. Interesting. I still feel kind of dubious about the fact that Nekomamushi and Inuarashi, or Dogstorm or Cat Viber, take your pick on the names, decided to leave Zoe. They might think Carrot is capable, and I think that too. It still feels too early for that. And considering the part that it seems like Zoe has to play in the future, I don't know. Something doesn't sit right with me about all that. But, hey, I have to hope that Oda has a plan. What the hell? Okay, we cut over to Pirate Island, but all the pirates are freaking out, but there's two figures we see off to the side. And I'm looking at them like, are they important? But then I look at the one dude's shoulder pauldron. Is that Don Krieg and Gin? No way. So they're still out there. And they made it all the way to the Pirate Island? How'd you know? And is that Pearl? Yeah. Holy crap. So they're all here. Wow, we really are seeing everyone. They caught my attention because, like, they're the first thing you see when you look at the page. And I'm like, questioning, like, who the heck are those guys? But then I look at his shoulder, I'm like, that's Don Krieg. So they're still together, apparently with Pearl. The pirates are freaking out saying, so what's he saying, huh? That there's buried treasure on the seafloor all over the world? Another pirate says, don't be stupid. You think the whole world was the city of gold? And it's 200 meters down. How will you get there? It'll be a CB snack. I don't know. I've heard there are ships that can go underwater. Another pirate says, you got money for that? And one pirate says, it'd be easier to make friends with a mermaid. While the other one says, now there's a tempting idea. Oh snap, the Soriyama Alliance. Mont Blanc Cricket says, that's long before Nolan's day. Masher says, what a tale. Ook, ook. Cricket says, ready for another dive? Now this is the stuff of dreams. And the others cheer. We see Masher still looking the same, as well as Soju. Although Cricket looks like he grew himself a beard. We then cut to Navy G5. I think that's G5 or GS. General Hospital. Amepo says, are you alright, Kobe? So is he saying that the One Pieces, Hibari says, it sure is a lot to take in, huh? Kobe, who's in the hospital bed, says, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I need to jot all of this down later. My mind can't keep up. We see Hibari, Helmeppo, who are heavily bandaged, Groose, and Kujaku, as well as several other Marines, and I think I see Panda Man back there. I normally don't spot Panda Man. Kujaku says the captain's recovering well, but he wants to be alone. Kobe says that this appears to be leading us to a pretty dangerous conclusion. Don't you think, Prince? Bruce says, I sure do. Seems like an answer that shouldn't be. Kujaku then says, then that's where we step in. Ooh, is Sword about to make their move? Do they have the people for that? Oh, Drake? He's still heavily bandaged too. And where is he currently? It looks like he's in the same location. Did he return to Sword? Shoot, the only thing we don't know now is if Hawkins actually straight up died. And it looks like someone was previously sitting with Drake too. And then we cut to Smoker. I wonder. He was racing along the waves. I didn't know his bike could actually race along the water too. Interesting. But it looks like he's carrying something. We cut to the new world where he's calling for Toshigi, saying, where are you? Toshigi says, oh, Smoker, I'm at the GS General Hospital. Are we about to have all the members of Sword meet up? In another location, people are intensely listening to Vegapunk's message as he says, I know this information is in bits and pieces, but if I were to say more, it would be speculation. One person yells out, just tell us, what did Roger leave behind? That sounds like the fans. Meanwhile, back on Egghead, up in the labiophage, Nami says, look, the barrier's coming down. As the frontier dome dissipates. He then says, what was that huge noise earlier? That scared me. We see Chopper, Usopp, and Lilith aboard the Sunny. As Chopper says, it looks like the clouds have stopped extending outward. Usopp says, we've got plenty of room as it is. There's enough distance for the ship to land in water. So Edison did it. Lilith then calls out, but it sounds like there's a whole bunch of enemy ships right where we'd land. Of course. You gotta take a little bit of the good and a little bit of the bad. Brooke calls out, cola barrels are loaded. We can fire them off at any time. Nami radios out, are you here yet, Jinbei? And Jinbei says, almost there, but Zoro has a very intense look on his face. Oh, they're right behind Ethan Baron and Venus Juro. Holy crap. Hey, it's what so many people were like, oh man, we saw to see Zoro clash with Ethan Baron. Jinbei says, we're on the heels of a mysterious monster. As Jinbei is following behind Ethan Baron, who's galloping towards the Sunny. Nami says, what? Why are you going on a detour? Get back here at once. Jinbei says, it's not a detour. The monster's heading for you. Watch out. Nami says, huh? As Ethan Baron leaps towards the Sunny. As Jinbei says, his presence is truly overwhelming. Ethan Baron gets ready to slash the Sunny. Chopper, Usopp, and Lilith's eyes pop out of their head. As Lilith says, the Five Elders. What? Oh, fastball special. Zoro. Oh man, it's Orlumbus all over again. Zoro jumps into Jinbei's hand. Jinbei reels back and uses Fishman Jujutsu, piggyback, and launches Zoro, who then immediately uses two-sword style, Restful Paradise, Rashomon. Ooh, and it is like easily blocked by Ethan Baron. You can see the hockey coming off of their clash too. Jeez. Yeah, I love that little glance from Ethan Baron, who and he must have saw it coming with observation. Oh, and their clash has enough force. Ethan Bear and Venus Jiro says Katetsu. At least, no, or is that Zoro who says Katetsu? Yeah, I think it's Zoro. Yeah, he sees the sword and says, Katetsu. And the clash knocks them both back. Jinbei manages to catch Zoro, saying, gotcha. And as Nami calls out for Zoro, Zoro says, push off, we'll jump on. Now, while you still can. Meanwhile, at the northeast coast of Egghead, God, I'm only halfway through this. Feels like so much has already happened. Bonnie calls out, where are you, Straw Hat? Hurry up. We can't last forever. Vice Admiral Hound calls out to his men, it's just one ship. Forget the legends, sink that old outbound junker to the seafloor. Meanwhile, it seems that Sanji and Atlas are waiting on the shore. As Sanji radios out, can't seem to get a connection through. Come on, Luffy. And a voice calls out from the flames. It's Luffy saying, I'm almost there, get the ship moving. Sanji says he's just gonna yell really loud. I mean, hey, it works. Atlas says, ooh, good. Dory and Brogy spot the ship, with Brogy saying, Oimo, Kashin! Kashin says, captains! And Dory says, set sail! Oimo says, you got it, captains! Kashin saying, we're off, swing around! While Hound calls out, don't let them escape! The other giant warrior pirates strike back at the attacking ships. Vice Admiral Urban commands his men, saying, stand firm! They're fossil pirates from 100 years ago! Meanwhile, the giant warrior pirates leap into the sea, attacking at the marine ships, saying, drive them off, boys! Bog yag 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 yag! While the marines say, we can't handle them, sir. All ships, leave position and focus on our target. I want an all-out assault. And it's literally like Attack on Titan over here. Meanwhile, in comes Vice Admiral Bluegrass riding on her sea beast weapon. And she says, what is this sorry display? Don't each and every one of you carry justice on your back? Act like the heroes you are, not a bunch of scrubs. The Marines call out to Vice Admiral Bluegrass as her sea beast weapon fires upon the giant warrior ship. Kashin looks at the point of the blast, saying, whoa, that put a hole in the ship. And in comes Vice Admiral Dahl, who says, and I'll put one in you too. She hockeys up her fist and just starts unloading on Kashin, using Rock and Roll Blaster. Dang, she is just laying into him too. At the very least, Bluegrass has the same kind of power that we've seen from Luffy when it comes to taking down big opponents. The Marines cheer, saying, yeah, go Vice Admiral Dahl. Love a good brawler. Kashin ends up falling into the sea. Oimo calls out for him. Another Marine says, keep it up. So what if they're giant? Meanwhile, Luffy looks behind them into the flames and notices that Warcury isn't following them. He says, huh? At some point, the boar stopped chasing. Where'd he go? Dory tells him, that's good news. Now we can just hop on the ship. And he's wheezing from all the running. While Brogy says, and then we can set sail. Oh, but we see that the other four elders beside Ethan Baron are bearing down on the Iron Giant. Jeez, they went straight for him. Vegapunk's message continues as he says, lastly, I've one final message to impart. Those scattered through the world who bear the name of D. Oh. Meanwhile, Marcus Mars in his bird form communicates to the others saying, hey, isn't that? It is. It's the Iron Giant that attacked Marijois 200 years ago. Warcury says, I'm certain of it. And he rushes towards the giant saying, don't you dare. Meanwhile, those who listen to Vegapunk's message perk up when he says to those who bear the name of D. Dragon listens intently. Sabo thinks about Ace and Luffy. Kobe thinks about Luffy and Vice Admiral Garp. Blackbeard's ears perk up. Beppo's ears perk up and he talks to his captain. Ah, man. Warcury manages to slam into the Iron Giant, sending it flying, and the message cuts out as Warcury says, enough of this, Vegapunk. The Iron Giant falls into the marine ships off the coast. The people listening in say, no, it cut out. Vivi says, what was he gonna say? While Morgan's focuses on D. The elder seems to ease up a little bit, while York falls to her knees saying, finally stopped. Man, what a chapter. We got to see Krieg, Pearl, and Geen, and we pretty much saw everyone. Who the heck is, oh, Kuro maybe. we don't know about Arlong. So it's not like we saw everybody. Seems that Sword has come together, and I think Drake's there. I'm pretty sure Drake is with the other Sword members, and Smoker is out there with his billower bike. But what's in that box? What's in the box? What's in the box? Everybody was waiting for that clash of Venus Zero and Zoro, clash of the Kitetsu. I wonder what the story behind Venus Zero's Kitetsu is, but everybody's kind of ready to take off. Like, we're close to getting off of Egghead. It's almost there. Can they make it? I mean, I know Kashin was knocked into the water, but, tough as Doll might be, taking on a bunch of giants is another story. Although, Bluegrass did put a hole in the ship, so we'll see. And dang, the Iron Giant kinda got sacrificed. Inside of them is what? And is it a metaphorical inside? A lineage thing? A spiritual thing? Maybe it's the blood of Joy Boy? The descendants of Joy Boy? Inside of them is the DNA of Joy Boy? Lineage? That's usually how it works to a certain extent. But then again, not always. I wonder what that last part was. We'll find out when the time comes. I mean, gotta have Robin discover something, But my thing is, despite some people saying it's like, now what's Robin gonna discover? There's probably a whole lot more to all of this. Shoot, if anything, if this is all the information Vegapunk knew from Ohara, this is probably a lot of things Robin potentially already knew to some degree. Maybe? I don't know. I'll be interested to know how this affects things going forward. People know there's a weapon that can destroy an entire island out there. I feel like Luffy will be blamed for a lot of this though. Or will they try to keep it a secret? And Kajaku said Sword is ready to make their move. Lot to rack my brain over. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also remember to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.